Good morning. Just really quick. I gotta get back to my regular job, but I wanted to encourage you through this January and that you will get to start seeds soon. So until then, you can get your seed saving stuff together. You can get a small set of shelves. You can get an inexpensive grow light. You can take a look and see. You can order them now so you have them when you're ready. You can get your setup going. You can have supplies ready to go. And if you really want to, you can start practicing with lettuce seeds if you like. These little guys just came up a couple days ago and they're under some movable lights. I love these because they are adjustable in height. They can go way tall when the plants get tall, especially my tomatoes and peppers, and they can get shorter to be real close to the lights, 3-4 inches for the seedlings. You can see they're already stretching for the light. They want to go where the light is, so they're going to bend their little heads. If the light is too high, they're going to get too tall. You can go for the fluorescent kind with the tubes. It's not necessarily, and you can see some of the other, I'm going to flip this around so I can see what you see. Oh, here we go. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Okay. You can start seedlings. These are lettuce seedlings. They are not escarole. They are the other good stuff that I can't remember. But you can start in any kind of container that you have. So for example, these are actually in containers I'm recycling from flowers and herbs I got last year. And I'm using them. They have holes at the bottom. I love these these are cafeteria trays. And I love them because they're so short. I can add water to the top of this tray. That's enough water to soak up and go into the cells. When I add from the bottom, the top stays dry and it's less likely to have gnats or to get moldy on top because the top stays pretty dry. If you water from the top, they get moldy, they get green or the algae on it. It's not as good for them. That's when your seedlings can damp off because they'll get a little bit of fungus growing along here and it will rot it away at the stems. That's damping off. But if you water from the bottom in a shallow tray with containers that have holes, the water will soak up into here, which is where their root zone will be. Lettuce do have shallower roots, but I have seen roots when I have transplanted little babies like this, little lettuce babies. I have seen roots go all the way down to the bottom, and I've actually seen some roots come out the ends here. So you can do that. Any container that you have. These are recycled. So I took babies and I put them here. Lettuces are very forgiving. They just want to stay moist. They just like it wet. They like it wet. And there's the root. I have discovered that they need at least about 4 inches of soil to grow well. I tried it in smaller containers, didn't have as much luck. Smaller, like shallower, like this, they didn't have as much luck. They kind of got wilty. But about 4 inches of soil, that's what I put them in. They're growing pretty well. Escarole. I believe this is escarole. And you also could take clippings from your houseplants. If you're really wanting to grow things, get some clippings from your houseplants. Here are some coleus I clipped from my clippings that I took last year before the frost. I just keep taking clippings and clippings and clippings and putting them in some little... actually, I start them off in water until they have roots. And then yesterday, I transplanted these to some soil. This is Swedish ivy, the stuff that smells like juicy fruit gum. And I also root these in water first. And when they have a lot of roots, then I put them in the soil. And I keep the soil really, really moist because that's where they're coming from, at least to start off with. I like to keep adding water. Again, I have these shallow trays for water. And that's enough to go up into where the plant root zone is. So you cannot be starting seeds right now that would go outside, but you can start inside. You could start lettuces and other cold crops, things that really like it cool. This room, seedlings, but if it's too warm, they'll grow too fast. So I do crack the window a little bit. I also keep water with a big open wide mouth so that the chlorine will come out of the water. So when I add the water to the trays, it's non-chlorinated water. So it's as close to rainwater as I can get. It's the city water without chlorine. But you can start getting your setups ready. You can get your electric ready. You can get your supplies ready. You can start getting your soil ready. You can decide what kind of containers you're going to use. But this is a good time to do that, to get your setup ready. I wouldn't necessarily start anything yet, except for cooler crops like lettuces. And when these are harvested, when they grow a little bit taller and get more bushy, actually I can clip them off and start eating them and adding them to salads and or adding them to like burgers and other things like that, recipes. Also taking clippings from your house plants if you're stir crazy and start propagating them in water and then planting them in soil. But this is a great time to start doing that. Get ready. Kind of like if you've got newborns. You get the environment ready. You also can look at your seed catalogs and garden catalogs and say, ooh, I like that. Ooh, I don't like that. Ooh, what is something that's new that I haven't grown before? Maybe that's disease resistant. What are some bargains I can get? I would not buy plants yet, but I would start looking at seeds for next year's planting. And whether it be human food or food for pollinators, you might as well start looking. Look, did you know there were so many different kinds of strawberries? A lot of people just pick off what is in the nursery center and they bring it home and they don't know. Did you know there's so many different kinds of blackberries? I believe we have the Arapaho thornless, and I believe we have the Prime Arc Freedom. These are also thornless, and we get a ton of blackberries. Look at all the different types of blueberries. You just don't know. Look it. You don't have to have a garden to grow blueberries. Put them in a container. But this is the great time to get your environment ready and to start looking at the seed catalogs to see what's available. If you wanted to plant fruit trees anywhere on your property and start growing food, you maybe haven't done it before, it's a great time to look at that. These would come early in the spring, and you would plant them. They may come at very small sizes. They do have different sizes available that you can choose from, and based on cost, that's what you're going to get. For home gardens, I really recommend the dwarf varieties, if at all possible. You'll get plenty of fruit. You won't have as much maintenance to have to do, but you will get lots of fruit for your family. You're not trying to grow an orchard necessarily. You just want to grow enough that you could eat and give away and preserve. Not a whole lot, or you'll be too overwhelmed. If you love roses, now's the time to look and see. You got roses you love? Do you want different colors? You want to make a color scheme? You want to make a rainbow garden? Ooh, look at that. Look at all those colors. This is the time to start looking. This is the time to start looking. Look at this. Hummingbird mint in different colors. You want to attract hummingbirds to your yard? You want to see them in person, live at a plant, not necessarily at a feeder? This is the time to look for it. They also love bee balm. Hummingbirds love this. You can see there's a butterfly on the plant. I mean, that's kind of a clue to you too. Do I want to attract butterflies? Do I have shady places? This is the time to look. I really love cut flowers. Do I want to add some dahlias? Do I want to add some new sunflower seeds or seeds? Do I want to add new types of zinnias that hold up well in cut gardens? This is the time to look. This is the time to look. This is the time to plan. This is the time to think about what's going to hold my soil if I don't have an in-ground garden. Look at, you could put this in your backyard if you have an HOA. Why not? Couldn't you put these in there? How about these little guys? They're not in-ground. They look pretty. They look tidy. What about that? You think you can get away with that? This is the time to look. This is the time to think about how much space do I have? What does my family like to eat? What do I end up buying at the market all the time? What do I think I can grow right now? Like this year. And then definitely think about how much space you have. Pumpkins. Everyone loves pumpkins. They need a lot of space. They like to sprawl. You have to have space available for them to spread all their vines. You also could consider trellising them. I've trellised pumpkins before successfully. You like squash? Winter squash tends to last a lot longer because it tends to have thicker skins. Butternut is delicious. A lot of people like spaghetti squash in place of pasta. Acorn squash is delicious too. Delicata. Delicata has a thinner skin. They call it a winter squash, but it has a thinner skin that you can just wash and you can slice right through and eat it. Do you like Brussels sprouts? Do you like cabbages? Do you like, oh, that's what it is. It's not escarole in those. This is, what was that going to be? Romaine. Those are romaine seedlings. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. The price of salads now, lettuces at the store is pretty high. So considering growing your own is a great idea. And look at this. Look at all these lettuces you can pick from. Do you like the purpley kind? Have you tried them? Do you like the crinkly kind? Have you tried Swiss chard? Here's some romaine. Mini romaine. I would imagine you could put that in pots in your on your porch. Green ice, black-seeded Simpson, easy leaf lettuce mix that you probably would see in a store. This is a Gurney's catalog. Many places have different types of catalogs. There's lots of spinach, turmeric. Do you use that in your cooking? Lemongrass, ginger. Do you use these things? Can you grow one or two things? Here's peas. Peas are good in the fall and in the spring, as they like the cool days. They like a lot of moisture. It tends to be rainy in the spring and in the fall. Summer peas, very difficult to grow. Not impossible, but you're going to have a lot of, you're not going to like the results as much. So anyway, this is the time. Start looking at catalogs. They'll send them to you for free. If you're lucky, Baker Creek sends their catalog when you make a purchase. I actually have 2 of those. Don't know why, but I might give one away. Gurney's. Let's see, I've got Gurney's. I've got Burpees. Burpees catalog. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is a bulb catalog, I believe. This is called House of Wesley, but this was from spring of 2022. Many offerings may be the same. Some may change. What I love, though, even if it's an older catalog, is you can look at the photos and say, is this something I would like in my garden? Oh, I didn't know that a Christmas cactus looks like this. Oh, look at these. These do look like red birds in a tree. Isn't that interesting? Maybe I'll put some in my garden. So I love the photos that they capture. You could say, huh, this design is interesting. I wonder what these flowers are. And here you go. They list them out. So even the old catalogs are good ones to have. Let's see. Birds and Blooms. Almanac. I think that's all I've got for catalogs. Seed catalogs. Oh, what's this one? There's another one. Oh, this one was Dixondale Farms. This is where I got my onions last year. My onion starts. And if you're going to grow onions and you know where you want to plant them, you could start ordering them now. And they will send them to you when it's time. And if you order more bunches, they actually send you little baby onions in a bunch wrapped up in like rubber bands. It's going to cost less money to get them sent to you. They give you charts on when to plant them and which kinds you want to get. They show you the sizes with happy people, obviously. But this is the time. This is the time to get your spaces ready, to look over the seed catalogs, to think about last year, and think about what you want for this year, and start getting those things together. This is not the time to plant summer things yet. This is the time for the cooler salads and herbs that you could harvest right now, today, when they're ready to use at home, and make more of your house plants, and get your light setups and your shelf setups. This is actually a nursery, like a mini greenhouse, indoor greenhouse, and it does have a cover I could use. So God forbid the power would go out for an extended period of time. I can take my cover and put it over the top. I can get hot water bottles, like 2-liter hot water bottles, and I could fill them with not hot water bottles, like soda bottles, pop bottles. I could fill them with water and stick them like down below and let the heat kind of radiate upward to keep my plants from freezing. And that's a consideration. You do have to keep that into consideration with any of your starts inside, is if you lose power and your electricity isn't working and your, you don't have heat indoor, things like that, what are you going to do? It's always good to have some kind of backup plan to keep your plants warm and protected until the power comes back on. I have a friend who lost power, and the temperatures went to like 19 degrees in her house, and then she also had busted water pipes. So just making sure that you have backups on backups and backups. And again, don't forget to add a space for your water so that the chlorine can come out of it when you water. And then I made this homemade, it's clunky. It's just cardboard with foil attached to it. And what I would do is at a bright light, front south-facing light window, is I would put this setup near that window, and then I would encase it in the cardboard that has the foil. So when the light comes into the plants, it's bounced off the back wall, the sides walls, and that type of thing. Now you can see these seedlings are stretching for the light. See, there's the light, and they're leaning toward it. And they're leaning toward it. If you had the light bouncing off of the different walls of your setting, then you would probably have more upright plants, upright seedlings. Okay, so that was it. I gotta get back to my regular job. You probably gotta get back to your regular job. But love you guys all. Love all of you. Learn and grow, learn and grow, learn and grow. I am sure that if you have gardening friends, if you're not getting these types of magazines, your gardening friends will have some extras. And actually, I'm going to put this Baker Creek one out too, since I have an extra one. I'll put that out on my website, and on the website, but on the Facebook page. And if people are interested, they can comment below and let me know, and I will pick one winner at random by the end of today. All right, happy Tuesday, happy growing.